Welcome to my Kalphite King Pre-Release tips video. Today I'm going to be covering basically everything I can before the Kalphite King release, so you guys can get the best advantage straight away to try get those epic new items. So I'm going to be covering the Melee DPS, Ranged DPS, Mage tanking, and Melee tanking inventory and gear setups. Basically what I think would be worth it, and basically what you want to use on the first trip. Anyway, let's get on to the Melee DPS. So full 12 would probably be the go here, as the set effects will most likely be coming in with the update. That would make a lot of sense. And Chaotic Mob is probably actually the weapon you want to be using unless they fix dual wielding, because at the moment dual wielding is basically broken, and if they don't fix this, then the new weapons that they're coming off of Kalphite King will probably be good fighted, because they'll just be bank standing or slay weapons, because no one's going to use a lesser weapon. Even if it's 10 levels higher, the mob's probably still going to be better. The inventory is basically there. The Rocktail soup is kind of like an emergency. I don't know. It's maybe helpful, maybe not, but I'm deciding to take a few. Now, you want to have your yak full of Rocktails for every setup, so I'm not going to show just a full yak of Rocktails every time. But anyway, you want to be using your basic abilities to get your adrenaline up. I can't really talk about the actual cooldowns and rotation at this stage, because we don't actually know what's going to be happening with like the moves and stuff. You might have to save some, whatnot. So I will be covering that in the guide that I will be making as soon as possible. Now, you want to make sure you have an anti-poison plus or a Sanfew serum, because I'm assuming there is going to be some poison damage here, and it's probably going to hit really, really high. But other than that, don't die. So onto the ranged DPS now. I would suggest wearing full Pernix of, like I said before, with the next sets probably most likely coming in, and then basically the inventory is pretty much the same for melee and ranged. I can't really think of any difference. You could use a royal crossbow instead of the Zarat bow, but I prefer the Zarat bow, which has got so much more swag. But for the abilities, yeah, like I said before, again, I can't really say too much about that without knowing what's going on in there. But yeah, keep your basics going, and you actually can use kick while ranging, which is pretty cool. Now, fragment shot into kick is a great combo, because if you use frag shot and then, like, say you're at next, you use frag shot, and then she moves, you hit like so much more damage on the bleeds. So that's a worthwhile tip there. It does so much more damage. Test it out. It's pretty funny actually seeing it kick from like 20 yards away. Now, I did debate making a ranged tank kind of setup, but I don't think that's going to be helpful, because you're probably going to have to get close in and you will get destroyed from the melee hits, as I've seen. So if it is worthwhile, we'll include it in the guide which we made, so you won't miss out. But I would suggest just staying on what I've got around here in these videos. Now onto the Mage DPS. Now, one thing I'd point out straight away is you probably want to use a chaotic staff instead of a staff of light. I'm still getting the tokens at the moment. I think I have like 50k tokens or something left to go. But on that said, dual wielding like the Virtus wand and a Virtus book is actually less DPS than a staff, which is also another problem. Like with the C-Maul thing I was talking about earlier, they might fix the dual wielding thing, because it actually happens like the same with magic. So if that is fixed, you'd probably be better using Virtus wand and book, but use the best stuff you can otherwise. And full Virtus with the set effect that will most likely be there, of course, is also the way to go. Now, the inventory is basically the same. You just want to use Air Surge, just because it's at this stage we don't actually know if it's got a weakness, so that takes one space, so I'd try that one out. And you basically, you'll be at a distance. The mages and rangers might be taking out the Kalphites, so you probably want to test out that a lot and see which is hitting better on the Kalphites. I'm assuming the melees probably aren't going to hit on it, because in the behind the scenes they had all the melees on the king. Although that being said, the J-mods don't seem to do the right things in any of the behind the scenes that we've seen so far. But anyway, now onto the mage tanking setup. Now, this is probably going to be the hardest thing. The tanks at the Kalphite King. On our team that we're making, we're taking 4 tanks and 4 DPS, I think it is, on our first trip. So it's going to be interesting. We're kind of just testing it out. But anyway, the actual rejuvenate cooldown is getting nerfed, and I believe that will be tonight as well, from 1 minute to 5 minutes, which is actually, that's quite hefty. The reason that tanking was so good before you didn't need food was because of rejuvenate. So it's going to be different. I'm assuming to see a lot of people more using barricade now. So barricade's definitely going to be something you're going to want to use at Kalphite King. You want to be straight away when you go there. You want to work out what the hell's going on with them one-hit KO attacks and all those things, that little things you want everyone to watch and be trying to save you, I guess. But you're going to die as a tank, so be warned. Anyway, the defensives are probably going to be your best friends. You're probably not going to have to worry too much about getting DPS out. You're just going to be trying to stay alive. And yeah, so there is a Virtus book there if you want to go offensive, but I probably wouldn't recommend using that straight away. You want to know what's going on, maybe on the second trip, third trip, maybe if you know what the hell's happening. But you might even want to take full yak of rocktail soup, die and lose like 2 mil of food. Now on to the melee tank setup. Now there hasn't been actually anything that I've really done melee tanking at all. I did do a few trips like Kalphite Queen and stuff, just testing out abilities and trying to work out what's the best setup on that. This one worked quite well. It's basically the same as the Mage tanking, it's just you're meleeing and you don't do as much damage. Like with Mage you do more damage when tanking, but I did put a offhand CLS in there, so you can use that if you want to deal more damage. But like I said before, you probably don't want to do that on your first few trips. You want to work out what's going on. You want to know when you want to wear your shield, or you might not even take it at all, but it's just an option. You might want more super restores for both the tanking setups, but I think you should be okay, especially if you've got penance, and I'm assuming you're not going to do more than 1 kill a trip. It's basically just everything you got for 1 kill basically. But make sure you're using all the proper defensives, and basically you're only using the damaging things just to get your adrenaline up. That's really the only reason I could see a tank trying to do that at this stage. So just make sure you're using defensives, you get your adrenaline up with your basics. Now I'm going to talk about just a few tips and little tricks that you might want to incorporate on your first few trips or whatnot. Now, the first thing I'll talk about is definitely try as many methods as you can. There will be so many different things coming up, all these different little things. Try as many as you can. And also, use loot share or free-for-all split if you're with clan mates or someone you can trust, fully 100% trustworthy. As coin share might not split it properly. It might just split it at the GE value, which will probably be 20 mil or something odd, like Jaggish usually does. Be very open to ideas, so when someone suggests something, don't say just you should just try it and see if it works, even if you just try it briefly. Now use VoiceOver IP, which is basically like Skype, TeamSpeak, Vent, those little things, so you can talk to guys, the other people you're with on your team. It'll make it 1,000 times easier. Don't die much. It's going to be a hard one. Just try to stay alive, and if you are going to die, make sure you know what killed you so you don't get killed again by that same thing. Now the last point I'm going to make is take it slow. Even if you just do a little bit at a time and then you tally out and come back in, do that again and get it perfect kind of thing, or work out what's going on, that really does help. Of other games I played like WoW in guilds with hardcore raiding, we used to just do on the new bosses and stuff like that, we'd do the first phase of it and we'd just sit there for 3 hours a night just wiping, which is dying for trying to work out the strategies and work out what's going on. That probably would work for this, depending how hard it is. It sounds like it's going to be hard, and with the evolution of combat, it looks like it's going to be hard. So if it does have phases, that would be a good option in my opinion, just trying out things and tallying and whatnot. But anyway, that's it that I've got to say about it for today. We'll see you guys for another video about this soon. I'll hopefully have the guide out. But anyway, I wish you good luck and hope you get some nice juicy loots. Have a good one. Bye.